3 days in the interrogation room beneath Silver Pine Estate and Luna Ashford had learned the particular quality of silence that precedes execution. She was 28 years old, had spent 8 years washing blood from training mats, and she'd made peace with invisibility. Then Beta Marcus Hale was attacked on her doorstep, and peace became a luxury she couldn't afford. The room was clinical, white wall, steel table, two-way mirror. Through the adjacent window, her sister Maya paced with the restless energy of someone who still believed innocence mattered. Maya was 20, nursing student, brown hair tangled after days of confinement. They'd taken her not because she was guilty, but because proximity to scandal was its own crime when you were born Omega. The door opened. Detective Garrett Bradford entered first, 50 years old, expensive suit eyes scanning a report with detached interest. Then he straightened, sensing someone behind him. Alphaking Cade Blackthorne filled the doorway. 45 years old, 6'4" gray, threading through black hair. Scars crossed his weathered face, one on his cheekbone, another bisecting his eyebrow. Golden eyes swept the room with practiced assessment. He still wore his wedding ring 10 years after his mate Rebecca died in the Northland Wars. His voice carried command, even in quiet tones. "Give us the room, detective." Garrett's jaw tightened. "Protocol requires the room now." The detective left resentment in every line as he closed the door harder than necessary. Cade studied Luna with those golden eyes, reading body language, the way soldiers learn to read terrain. She met his gaze, refusing to disappear. 8 years of training had taught her invisibility, but something about the way he looked at her made hiding feel wrong. He spoke with clinical precision. "8 years you've worked in my estate, laundry division. Punctual, diligent, never caused trouble." Luna said nothing. "Marcus Hale was found at 11:47 p.m. on your property. Throat wound, critical blood loss. You were discovered at 11:52, covered in his blood, attempting first aid. The images flashed Marcus's pale face under moonlight, hot blood soaking through her clothes as she pressed hands to a wound already too late to save. Your shift ended at 10:30, Kata continued. 20-minute walk to your cabin. Where were you for the missing hour? Walking, long route through the forest. I needed air. Witnesses, no. So you have no alibi for the time of the attack? I suppose I don't." Cade leaned forward. "Marcus was my father's closest advisor. Veteran of the Northland Wars, survived 3 assassination attempts, trained every member of my personal guard." He let that settle. "You're an Omega, 28 years old, no combat training, no history of violence. Your psyche Val came back pathologically conflict averse." Luna felt the trap forming. She waited. "I didn't kill him," Luna said quietly. "I know you didn't." Cade's admission landed like a physical blow. "Someone skilled enough to take down a veteran warrior chose your property, your timeline to frame you. The question is why you..." Luna had no answer. "I pulled your adoption records. The Ashfords bought you through a private broker in '99. The broker's company was a front, dissolved 6 months after the transaction. No records of other sales. Just you." Luna's hands tightened. "Someone wanted you hidden, professionally hidden. They succeeded for 25 years, until Marcus was attacked and suddenly you're the most visible person in the territory. I don't understand. Neither do I yet, but I'm going to find out and you're going to help me." Cade stood. "I'm opening a formal investigation. The court wants justice. They want someone punished. I can hold them off for 72 hours. In that time, we figure out why you were targeted. And if we don't, then I execute you anyway, because I can't afford to look weak by freeing a suspected murderer without ironclad proof. Politics is a cage, Miss Ashford, even for a king." Luna stood as well. "So I'm bait. You're a loose thread. Someone will try to tie you off. When they do, we'll have them. And I'm supposed to trust you with my life." Cade's smile was grim. "You don't have a choice, but for what it's worth, I've spent 10 years hunting the people who killed my mate. I'm very good at finding killers. The question is whether I find them before your 72 hours expire." He moved toward the door, then paused. "One more thing. My sister. If this goes wrong, what happens to her?" "She goes free. She had no part in this. You have my word." A king's word. Luna would have to stake her life on whether it meant anything. The war room occupied the estate's second floor. Maps covered 3 walls, red pins clustered around the northeastern section. A massive table dominated the center, covered with photographs, documents, tablets displaying forensic reports. General Grant Stone snorted when Luna entered. 62 years old, red hair, on mostly gray military bearing that had survived decades in wars. With respect, Your Majesty, we're wasting resources. The Omega attacked Hale. Motive doesn't matter, crime is clear. Cade pulled up a tablet. Timeline doesn't work. Luna's shift ended at 10:30. Gate security logged her leaving at 10:35. Marcus was attacked at approximately 11:15. 40-minute walk to her cabin through forest. Garrett stepped closer. She ran. Direct route attacked him, staged the discovery. Marcus weighs 210, combat trained. You're telling me a 135-pound laundress with no training overpowered him? An elderly woman spoke from the corner. Helena Crane, 75, Estates head physician. White hair pulled back severely, green eyes sharp. There's something else. I examined Marcus when paramedics brought him in. Everyone turned. He had traces of wolfsbane in his system. Not enough to kill, but enough to slow his healing. He was poisoned before he was attacked. The room went still. Someone planned this, Helena continued. Weakened him first, then struck when vulnerable. That's premeditation, not crime of passion. Garrett moved to the table. The court wants justice. Every hour we delay, they grow more agitated. Counselor Vincent Bradford is circulating a vote of no confidence. If you don't execute the Omega within 4 days, he'll push for it. Let him try, Cade said flatly. Grant interjected. Bradford's a snake, but he's a snake with 30 allies on the council. That's a third of the vote. Cade straightened, drawing every eye. We have 72 hours. 3 angles of investigation. First, Marcus's movements. Where was he going? Second, the adoption. Who hid Luna and why? Third, the poison. Helena, audit your inventory. Find who stole wolfsbane. Grant's expression remained skeptical. And if we find nothing, then I execute her and we keep digging afterward. That's cold. That's kingship. Yeah. They moved Luna to better quarters, 3rd floor room with actual furniture. Guards outside, door unlocked. Trust earned through shared crisis. Helena arrived with dinner, real food carefully prepared. As Luna ate, the physician produced a small object from her pocket. Silver locket tarnished with age. She opened it, revealing a faded photograph. A woman's face, beautiful with distinctive ice blue eyes. Luna's throat froze. This was found in Marcus's belongings, Helena said. Kept in his personal safe. The woman's initials SS. Luna looked at the mirror across the room. Her own eyes stared back, ice blue, identical to the woman in the photograph. Who is she? I don't know for certain, but Marcus kept this for 30 years. Whatever she meant to him was significant enough to protect. Helena began to stand, then stiffened. Her hand went to her throat. The tea, they poisoned the tea I drank before coming here. Who? Someone who doesn't want me talking to you. Helena collapsed, body seizing. Luna threw open the door, screaming for guards. They arrived with medics working frantically to stabilize the physician. As Helena lost consciousness, she whispered words only Luna could hear. 25 years ago. Silver family. Massacre. Not what? They said, you're one of... The words cut off as her body went limp. They rushed Helena to medical. Kate arrived within minutes, taking in the scene with those calculating, golden eyes. What happened? She came to examine me. Had tea before it was poisoned. She said something before she collapsed about the Silver family massacre 25 years ago. Cade picked up the locket from where it had fallen, studying the photograph. His gaze shifted between the faded image and Luna's face, measuring, comparing. Grant, he said quietly, pull files from 25 years ago. The Silver family massacre, every document. The general's eyebrows rose. Your Majesty, those files are sealed. Unseal them, now. To Luna, I need you to do something. Something that might kill you, but it's the only way to know for sure. Know what? If Helena was right about what you are, he gestured to the guards. Make her to the ceremonial hall. Summon the full court. We're doing this publicly. Doing what? Cade's golden eyes were unreadable. Seeing what happens when you transform. The ceremonial hall was enormous, vaulted ceilings, tiered seating, filled with 200 people. At the far end, elevated on a dais, sat the throne of silver pine. Black stone carved from meteorite covered in ancient symbols. Torches blazed along the walls despite modern lighting. Medieval primal designed to remind people they were more than human. The High Steward's voice carried without amplification. This emergency session is called to determine the nature of the accused. Luna Ashford has been asked to voluntarily demonstrate her transformed state for the court's assessment. Voluntary. The word suggested choice where none existed. Luna closed her eyes, reaching for the wolf she'd buried. She'd transformed 3 times in her life, each time in her small gray wolf, confirming what everyone knew. She was Omega. She was nothing. She reached deeper, and nothing responded. Minutes passed. The crowd grew restless. Garrett spoke. "The accused appears unable to shift." "Give her time," Cade commanded. Luna's mind drifted through memories, searching for why she couldn't shift. Then a flash, age 3. Woman with dark hair, the one from the locket holding her close. "Listen, sweetling. You have to hide. Hide everything. Your wolf, your gifts, everything special. Make yourself small. Make yourself invisible. Promise me, child Luna." "I promise, Mama." Luna's eyes snapped open. She'd made herself unable to shift. Deep childhood command obeyed for 25 years. She spoke to the memory. "Mama, I'm sorry. I can't hide anymore." She reached for her wolf again, but this time she didn't grab. She opened, released, undid the lock. The shift flowed like water. No pain, just rightness. Bones reshaped, muscles expanded, fur emerged. 30 seconds from start to finish. When Luna opened her eyes, she stood on 4 legs. The hall looked different from this angle. Colors, sharper edges, crisper. She could hear 200 heartbeats, smell emotions in the air. She looked down at her paws. Massive, dinner plate sized, and her fur silver. Pure, gleaming silver that caught torchlight and reflected it back. The crowd gasped. Then the throne of silver pine began to glow. Light poured from cracks spreading across its surface, silver radiance matching her fur. The black stone fractured with sounds like thunder. Helena's voice weak but carrying from a medical stretcher someone had brought. Silverborn, the lost heir, returns. Chaos erupted. Half the court dropped to their knees, heads bowed. The other half recoiled in fear. Voices rose in confusion, terror, awe. Garrett recovered first. "This is deception, dark magic. She's using sorcery to trick the throne." Other voices joined. The Silver family was exterminated. Impossible. Conspiracy. Helena tried to stand from her stretcher, failed. The throne does not lie. Only true silver blood makes it react. "Or she's using magic to deceive us," Garrett countered, playing to the crowd. Cade's voice cut through like a blade. "The session is adjourned. Miss Ashford will be moved to secure quarters. The council will convene in 48 hours to determine implications." He looked at Luna. "Can you shift back?" Luna focused, found the reverse pathway. It was harder, required more concentration, but she managed. Became human again. A guard provided a robe quickly. "Come with me," Cade said. "We need to talk. Privately." "The war room." Cade, Luna, Grant. Helena carried in on stretcher, but insisting on attendance. Grant spoke first. "Explain. What the hell is Silverborn?" Helena accepted water before responding. "The Silver family ruled Silverpine for 1,000 years before the Blackthorn line. Original rulers descended from the first pack that settled these mountains in the 1100s. She paused, catching her breath. "They were different. Larger wolves, stronger. They had gifts, command over other shifters, blood memory, enhanced healing. They weren't just leaders, they were apex. For 9 centuries they ruled justly, but they also maintained strict bloodline purity to concentrate power. 25 years ago, everything changed. Grant took over. I was 37 when it happened. Soldier in the Territorial Guard. The Silver family was charged with conspiracy planning to overthrow the council, establish absolute monarchy, enslave lower classes. Evidence was presented. Documents showing weapons correspondence with foreign pacts, coup plans. The council voted unanimously for execution. 47 people were put to death in one night. Every silver adult and teenager. Public executions. Helena's voice remained steady. But children were spared. Ancient law, you can't execute anyone who hasn't had their first shift. Invites a 7-generation curse. So babies and toddlers were sold off, scattered names erased. Luna found her voice. How many children? 5. Ages 3 months to 4 years. You were the oldest. The room tilted. So I'm the last surviving member of the Silver Royal line. Your mother was Queen Selene Silverpine. Your father was King Damon. If the old laws still held, you would be queen. Cade poured bourbon, drank it in one swallow. This is a catastrophe. Not for you, for me. Luna blinked. I don't understand. When the Silver family was executed, the council chose my grandfather as new ruler. He ruled for 12 years. My father ruled for 8. I've ruled for 10. 30 years of Blackthorn leadership. Now you appear, legitimate Silver heir. The throne recognizes you, that's constitutional. According to our oldest laws, Silver blood has rightful claim. Grant interjected. Half the court will see you as rightful queen. The other half will see you as threat to stability. Both halves will try to use you, Kate continued. You're not a person anymore, Luna. You're a symbol, and symbols get people killed. Luna sank into a chair. I don't want the throne. I never knew I was Silver. I have no training, no allies. I'm a laundress. Doesn't matter what you want. It matters what people think you want. Silence settled, waited with everything unsaid. Helena spoke quietly. There's something I haven't told anyone in 25 years. Every eye turned. I was there, the night of the massacre. I was the Silver family's personal physician. I saw the evidence that convicted them. Pause. It was fake, all of it. Documents were forgeries, weapons were planted, correspondence was fabricated. Grant went very still. That's treason to say. It's truth, and I stayed silent for 25 years because I was a coward. Helena looked at Luna. Your family died for nothing, and I let it happen. I have documentation, hidden for 25 years, original evidence that would have exonerated them, behind a false panel in my quarters. Grant moved toward the door. I'll get it. Take armed escort, Cade ordered. If someone poisoned Helena, they'll kill to keep that documentation buried. They retrieved the lockbox documents, photographs, USB drives, handwritten notes. 25 years of evidence. Cade scanned one document, expression hardening. Names, 12 families involved in the conspiracy. He read aloud. Whitmore, Sterling, Morrison, Frost, Bradford. He paused. Bradford, Garrett's family. A commotion erupted in the hallway. Guards burst through with another stretcher. On it, an older man, gray-haired knife wound in his side, blood seeping through bandages. A guard explained. Found him in the East Wing, trying to reach the king's quarters. Says he has information about the conspiracy. The wounded man's eyes opened, found Cade. They're moving, tonight. Everyone on the list, they know you have evidence. They're going to burn it. Burn everything. His body convulsed. Medics worked frantically. 2 minutes later, they shook their heads. He's gone. Who was he? Cade demanded. Garrett, the detective, spoke from the doorway. My father, Counselor Vincent Bradford, one of the 12 families. His voice carried complex emotion. I didn't know he was involved, but I should have guessed. Grant checked the body, found a folded paper. It's a list. Locations where the 12 families are gathering tonight. Cade read, expression darkening. 5 locations, each with 15 to 30 people. We can't hit them all simultaneously, Grant said. We hit the primary location, the leadership meeting. Cade pointed to the map. Old Morrison Estate, abandoned, remote, defensible. How many guards loyal to us? 50, maybe 70. They'll have 100. Then we even the odds. Cade looked at Luna. Your Silver command. How many can you affect at once? Luna's mind reeled. I don't know. I didn't know I could do it until the throne recognition. You drop 20 alphas to their knees without trying. If you can do that to their forces, we have a chance. Helena's voice weak but urgent. That kind of command will drain her. Could kill her. Then she'll learn fast. Cade moved to tactical maps. We have 6 hours to plan, train Luna, and mobilize. Luna stood. I'm not trained for this. No, but you're the only advantage we have. Without you, they destroy evidence, kill witnesses, and we're back where we started. Except you'll definitely be dead. The brutal honesty cut through her fear. Tell me what I need to do. First, you learn to use your gifts. Then we go to war. Training consisted of 3 hours with Helena coaching and Grant providing tactical context. Luna learned Silver Command was dominance made manifest, the same instinct that made Omegas defer to Alphas, taken to its logical extreme. Betas were most vulnerable. Weaker Alphas felt it as compelling suggestion. Only the strongest Alphas could fully resist. They practiced with volunteer guards. Luna learned to focus her will, push it outward like physical force. By the 10th attempt, she could affect 8 guards simultaneously, holding them immobile for 30 seconds. Helena monitored her vitals. You're burning through energy faster than your body can replenish. After 3 uses, maybe 4, you'll collapse. How do I increase that? Time, training, neither of which we have. Helena's expression turned grim. Use commands sparingly. Save it for critical moments. Don't try to hold more than 10 individuals. Your brain might literally shut down. Grant provided tactical training. You'll be protected centers surrounded by our best fighters. When we engage, we funnel them toward you. You drop as many as you can, we neutralize the rest. Midnight. The convoy reached Morrison Estate, burned main house, intact outbuildings. Intel suggested conspirators gathering in the chapel. They deployed on foot, moving through darkness with practiced silence. Luna's heartbeat felt loud enough to give away their position. Cade moved beside her, presence solid. His hand touched her shoulder, briefly grounding. They reached the chapel's perimeter. Grant hand signaled positions. 30 seconds to midnight, then motion at the entrance. The door opened, spilling light across overgrown grounds. A figure emerged, silhouetted against interior illumination. Marcus Hale stepped into moonlight, very much alive, clothes torn, face battered, but standing. Cade's hands shot up, stopping the advance. Radio crackled with Grant's voice. Multiple hostiles exiting rear. We're engaged. Gunfire erupted. Not sharp human weapons, but deeper reports. Shifter arms with silver rounds. Marcus walked toward them, hands visible. Smoke stained his clothes, ash on his face. The documents. Helena's evidence. They discovered she had them. This gathering was designed to destroy anyone who knew the truth. Cade's weapon stayed level. Explain how you're alive when we found you dying 3 days ago. I was attacked, poisoned with wolfsbane, throat slashed. I survived barely, woke in a state medical wing under guard. They thought I was unconscious, discussed their plans within earshot. Marcus moved closer. I escaped, went underground, gathered my own evidence. Tonight I came here to stop them. Convenient story. Grant materialized from shadows, weapon trained. I set the fire, locked the conspirators inside when they gathered. Marcus gestured toward the chapel. Whitmore, Sterling, Morrison, all the leadership. Most are burning in there, but some escaped through the back. The chapel's roof collapsed inward. Flames shot skyward, illuminating grounds in flickering orange. More gunfire from perimeter. Grant coordinated through radio. Beta team contain, but don't pursue. Secure survivors. Cade lowered his weapon fractionally. What evidence? Marcus pulled a USB drive from his pocket, tossed it. Complete records. I spent 3 days compiling everything Helena had, plus my own investigation. Financial transactions, communications, witness testimony. Cade pocketed the drive. You're under arrest. Expected. Marcus knelt, hands behind head. I committed arson and assault. I accept consequences. But you need to hear what they were planning. Grant secured him with restraints. Marcus continued, speaking urgently. The 12 families have contingency plans. Kill teams dispatched to eliminate all Silver bloodline survivors. Luna isn't the only one. There are 7 others scattered across the country. As of 3 hours ago, assassins were targeting all of them. Luna's breath caught. 7 cousins, distant relations who escaped because their connection wasn't known. The families have been tracking them for years. You're the primary target, but the others are marked to ensure the Silver line ends completely. Cade was on radio immediately. Get me Northern Territory contacts. Coordinate protective details across 7 states. A woman emerged from forest, hands raised. Late 30s, athletic, military bearing. Ice blue eyes, silver eyes. My name is Sarah Blackthorne Morrison. I'm one of the 7. She looked at Luna with desperate hope. They came for me in Chicago this afternoon. I escaped. My daughters, didn't they have my girls? I was told if I didn't lead them to Luna, my children die. Cade's weapon tracked her. You led them here? No, I led them to a safe house 3 miles south. Empty. Your guards should be finding bodies the kill team I eliminated. Sarah's voice stayed steady. All 6. Then I tracked your convoy here. Grant confirmed through radio 6 bodies, professional kills. 4 figures stumbled from the chapel clothes burning. They collapsed, rolling to extinguish flames. Medics moved in. One was Counselor Whitmore, 72, face blackened with soot. His eyes found Cade with fury despite pain. You've destroyed the territory. Bringing back the Silver Line, you've undone 30 years of stability. Stability built on genocide, Cade said coldly. I'll take chaos over that. Grant reported, 12 prisoners from perimeter. 3 of theirs dead, 2 of ours wounded. Chapel survivors 4, including Whitmore. Bring them all in, separate cells. Cade looked at Marcus, then Sarah. You 2 as well. Protective custody until we sort truth from manipulation. They transported everyone back in convoy that felt like refugee evacuation. Luna rode with Sarah, studying this woman who shared her bloodline. Sarah broke silence first. I always knew I was adopted. My parents told me when I was 8, but they didn't know where I came from. She looked at Luna. Did you know? Not until 3 days ago. Thought I was just a laundress. Luna felt exhaustion making her hands shake. Now I'm apparently royalty. We're pawns promoted to queens without asking. Sarah's smile held no humor. My daughters are 11 and 9. Taken from school. I got a call, cooperate or they die. I chose to fight. You think they're still alive? Hostages have value, bodies don't. Sarah's forced calm refused to acknowledge terror. But we need to move fast. Every hour odds get worse. The estate appeared ahead, floodlit and fortified. The war room coordinated controlled chaos. Prisoners processed and secured. Evidence cataloged. Medical team treating wounded. Communications reaching out to other territories. Helena appeared in wheelchair, still recovering. How many did we lose? 2 wounded, none dead, Grant reported. We got lucky. This was timing and intelligence, not luck. Helena looked at Marcus through reinforced glass. You knew they'd gather tonight. How? Marcus answered through intercom. I organized it. Sent messages through their channels claiming information about Luna's location. They thought I was still loyal. Instead, I gathered them in one location. You murdered them, Cade said flatly. I executed traitors. The 4 who survived will stand trial. The 13 who burned got the same mercy they showed the Silver family none. Grant turned to Cade. We need to decide how to handle him. Confessed to murder, but provided evidence that exonerates Luna. Whitmore's voice crackled through another intercom. He's useful, but he's a fanatic. You can't let him live. He'll destabilize everything. Luna spoke before she could stop herself. He loved my mother. That's what drove all this. She looked at Marcus. The locket. You carried her picture for 25 years. Marcus's expression cracked, showing emotion beneath Soldier's facade. Celine was my queen before she was your mother. When I was forced to witness her execution, something in me broke. I've spent every day planning revenge. Tonight I got it. At the cost of 17 lives, Helena said. At the cost of 17 conspirators who would have killed hundreds more. Marcus's voice hardened. You want justice? This is what justice looks like when the system itself is corrupted. Cade made his decision. You'll stand trial with the others. Your cooperation will be noted. But murder is murder, Marcus. I expect nothing less. Marcus settled back, looking oddly peaceful. I'm 63. I've lived past my purpose. If I die now, I die satisfied. The night stretched into dawn. Luna was moved to better quarter suite with private bathroom. Guards outside, door unlocked. Sarah had adjacent quarters. Through the wall, Luna could hear her negotiating on phone with whoever held her daughters. One-sided conversation made it impossible to know if she was succeeding. When Luna emerged dressed in clean clothes, she found Cade waiting by the window, watching dawn break over mountains. We located 3 of the other Silver survivors, he said. 2 are in protective custody. The 3rd refused help, went underground. And Sarah's daughters, negotiations ongoing. The hostage takers know their leverage evaporated. Without conspiracy leadership, they're freelancers hoping to cash out. We're offering money and immunity. Luna sank onto the bed. This isn't what I expected. What did you expect? Clearer lines, good people, bad people. Justice that didn't require burning people alive. She looked at him. Marcus loved my mother. That love turned him into a murderer. Is that justice or tragedy? Both. Most things are. Cade's answer came simple. You're going to learn that ruling means accepting complexity. I didn't ask to rule. Neither did I. But we don't get to choose our bloodlines. Silence settled between them, waited. Cade stood. The council convenes in 6 hours. They'll want answers. Get some sleep. He left. Luna lay back, intending to close her eyes for just a moment. Sleep took her immediately. She woke to knocking. 6 hours had passed in what felt like seconds. Breakfast waited on the desk. Maya stood in the doorway, eyes red from crying. She crossed the room in 3 strides, wrapped Luna in an embrace that hurt ribs still sore. They told me what happened, what you are. I don't care, you're still my sister. They shared breakfast, filling in gaps. The council session began at noon in the ceremonial hall. The throne still bore silver cracks, glowing faintly in daylight. 50 council members assembled. Garrett sat among them, expression neutral. Grant stood beside Cade at the throne. Luna was positioned to Cade's left, neither subordinate nor equal, but something between. Sarah stood to her right. The High Steward called session to order. This emergency council convenes to address recent revelations. Alphaking Cade Blackthorne will present evidence. Cade laid it out methodically. Helena's documentation, Marcus's evidence, names of 12 families, financial records, testimony from survivors, physical evidence from the chapel. The case was overwhelming, but counselors weren't convinced. Counselor Vincent Bradford's son, also named Bradford, stood. This suggests conspiracy by some members of founding families, but it doesn't validate the Silver Line's claim to rulership. 25 years of Blackthorne leadership brought stability. Resurrecting the old regime risks chaos. Murmurs of agreement. Luna recognized the play, acknowledged conspiracy without accepting consequences. She spoke before Cade could. The throne recognized me. That's constitutional fact. I'm not claiming rulership because I want power. I'm claiming recognition because the alternative is accepting that genocide can erase legitimate succession. What do you propose? Bradford's tone suggested he expected unreasonable demands. Co-rulership, dual monarchy. Cade maintains executive authority, military command, day-to-day governance. I provide oversight, cultural affairs, bloodline representation. Both accountable to this council. The room processed the compromise. Cade added support. The throne split during Queen Luna's recognition. 2 seats appeared, one black, one silver. The sacred stone suggests this solution. Grant stepped forward. I've served this territory for 40 years. This is the path forward. Acknowledge the past's injustice without destroying the present's stability. The vote took 30 minutes. 42 councilors supported dual monarchy. 8 opposed. Luna Silverpine was officially recognized as Silver Queen co-ruler alongside Alphaking Cade Blackthorne. The trials began immediately. Whitmore and 3 chapel survivors faced charges of conspiracy murder, treason. Marcus faced 17 counts of premeditated murder. Proceedings lasted 3 days. Whitmore remained defiant. Others provided testimony for reduced sentences. Marcus accepted his fate with satisfaction. Asked if he regretted his actions, I regret not acting sooner. Verdicts: Whitmore life imprisonment, 3 survivors, 20 to 30 years. Marcus death by execution. But Cade offered alternative 20 years of service teaching next generations. Marcus accepted. Sarah's daughters were recovered on day 4. Hostage takers took money and ran. Sarah broke when she saw them, strong facade crumbling. Luna watched the reunion, felt something twist in her chest. Family meant connection, belonging, something worth dying for. Rebuilding began with constitutional reforms. 3-branch government. Council restructured, equal representation. Term limits. Hereditary seats abolished. Luna spent 6 weeks negotiating, mediating, building consensus. Cade handled military restructuring. They worked in parallel efforts, interlocking without intersecting. On the 43rd day after transformation, Luna stood in ceremonial hall for official coronation. She wore silver gown crown of her grandmother. Cade wore black and gold iron crown of Blackthorn generations. They stood together before assembled court. Helena conducted ceremony. By authority of blood and throne, we recognize this dual monarchy. May they rule with justice, wisdom, and strength. The court erupted in genuine applause. Luna looked at Cade. He met her eyes and something passed between them. Not romance, but partnership forged through crisis. That night, celebrations filled estate grounds. Grant found Luna near Forest Edge, offered bourbon. "To the Silver Queen," he said. "To not getting killed," Luna countered. They drank. Grant's voice carried into darkness. "You did well. Better than most." "I didn't do anything, just survived." "Survival is a decision. Every moment you chose not to break, those were choices that shaped outcomes." Grant looked at her with eyes that had seen too many wars. "You're going to make mistakes. Make decisions that get people killed. But you'll also save people. Give them futures. Remember both sides when the weight gets heavy. Does it ever get lighter? No, but you get stronger." They stood in comfortable silence. Somewhere behind them, Cade addressed diplomatic conflicts. Sarah coordinated with Silver survivors. Maya organized Omega rights activists. Everyone had their roles. Luna was still learning hers. But she had time now. Time purchased through blood and fire and willingness to sacrifice everything for justice. The territory would heal, slowly with setbacks, but it would heal, and Luna would be there to help it happen. 6 weeks after the trials, Northern Territory envoys arrived at dawn with urgent intelligence. Ambassador Eric Stormclaw, 58, weathered and scarred, stood with military bearing. Beside him, Dr. Sarah Winters, 62, historian, specializing in shifter anthropology. Cade assembled the core team. Luna, Grant, Helena, now fully recovered. Sarah attended via video from Chicago. Eric didn't waste time. "We've intercepted communications suggesting coordinated attacks on remaining Silver bloodline members. Not the 12 families, they're broken. This is something older." Dr. Winters spoke with academic precision. 3,000 years ago, the first pack made a covenant with primordial forces. The origin mythology encodes actual history. She displayed ancient text. The covenant came with conditions. Balance. 3 seals maintain stability. First seal, Silver bloodline, must endure, representing legacy and tradition. Second seal, Shadow bloodline, must rule, representing strength and protection. Third seal, Cross bloodline, must witness, representing change and adaptation. When all 3 exist in sufficient numbers, minimum 10 living members each, the seals hold. Magic remains stable. When a seal breaks, reality destabilizes. Grant leaned forward. "You're describing philosophy, not supernatural law." "I'm describing both. When all 3 bloodlines maintain populations, transformations stay controlled, magic remains predictable." Dr. Winters pulled up statistics. When a seal breaks, symptoms appear: increased feral transformations, more rogues, unpredictable magic. Cade went still. 25 years ago, when we executed the Silver family, the first seal broke. It's been broken for a quarter century. The imbalance has been growing. "But I'm alive," Luna said. "We've found 8 Silver survivors above threshold." "Barely, and recently. The seal needs time to heal, Doctor." Winters closed her tablet. "Which brings us to the immediate crisis." Eric took over. 3 months ago, the second seal began cracking. Shadow bloodline, Cade's line, currently has 67 living members. 8 have died in 90 days. Professional kills made to look like accidents. Cade's jaw tightened. "Someone's hunting us." "Systematically. If Shadow drops below 10 members, second seal breaks entirely. 2 broken seals trigger the convergence. All shifter magic destabilizes. Transformations become uncontrollable. Civilization collapses within 3 months." The room absorbed that in silence. Grant broke it. "Who's orchestrating the killings?" "We don't know, but they're moving fast. Projection puts Shadow below threshold in 12 days. Eric's expression carried terminal diagnosis weight. "We came to warn you and request alliance." "And the third seal?" Luna asked. "Cross bloodline, 93 members. Healthy. But if someone's targeting bloodlines systematically, they'll go after Cross next." Eric looked at Cade. Garrett Bradford connects to the original cross line through his mother's side. Garrett opposed his father's conspiracy, Kate said. Correct. We've investigated. His father tried to confess before his son could be implicated. Eric pulled out dossiers. Garrett's clean, and he's a resource. Cross-bloodline maintained records, genealogies, survival strategies, honed over 1,000 years. We need him, Grant concluded. Cade made the decision. Bring him in. Full disclosure. If he cooperates, he gets protection and resources. Eric nodded. We've located 23 vulnerable shadow members, spread across 7 states. We can't protect them all. Then we prioritize. Bring the most vulnerable here. Cade pulled up maps. Grant coordinate extraction teams. The meeting dissolved into tactical planning. Extractions began within hours. Success rate was 80%. 4 members died before teams arrived. Each death tightened the noose. 67 became 63, racing toward threshold. Garrett arrived on day 3 escorted by Northern security. He looked older, stress aging him, but his eyes remained sharp. He met with Cade privately 2 hours behind closed doors. When they emerged, Garrett had accepted position as cross-bloodline liaison. My people have been hiding for a millennium, Garrett explained. We're good at it, but this threat has resources we can't match. Luna studied him. Your father tried to destroy my family. Now you're helping. How do I know this isn't another conspiracy? Garrett met her eyes. You don't, but my father's choices aren't mine. He believed in power concentrated among old families. I believe in power distributed fairly. If that makes me a traitor to his memory, I'll live with it. Luna nodded acceptance. Day 7 brought breakthrough. Northern Territory intercepted communications, encrypted messages Dr. Winters decoded. They referenced a meeting location. Abandoned psychiatric facility, upstate New York. Leadership gathering to coordinate final phase. Cade assembled strike team. 50 guards plus Luna, Grant, and Garrett. They would assault the facility, capture leadership, break the network. Current count 59 shadow members, 1 death away from critical danger. The flight took 4 hours. They landed at midnight, transferred to ground vehicles through darkness toward Rockland Psychiatric Center. They breached at 0300 hours. Tactical teams clearing rooms systematically. The facility was decrepit, water-damaged, graffiti-covered. They found resistance in Central Tower. Not soldiers, ritualists. 12 figures in robes surrounding a bound woman. At center stood elderly woman holding silver knife catching moonlight. Cade signaled halt. Step away from the hostage. Drop the weapon. You're surrounded. The elderly woman turned. Luna's breath caught. She looked exactly like Helena. Same features, same white hair, same green eyes. But where Helena carried compassion, this woman held bitterness. Evelyn Crane, Helena's voice came through radio. My twin sister, I thought you were dead. You thought wrong. Evelyn's voice carried across the chamber. For 25 years, I've been patient, watching the blackthorns rule over ashes of everything I loved. But patience has limits. She gestured to the bound woman, young golden eyes. Shadow bloodline. The last one they needed to kill to break the second seal. Grant spoke quietly through radio. Sniper's clear shot. Negative, too many bodies blocking. Cade tried negotiation. Whatever you think you're accomplishing ends here. Release the hostage. Stand down. Evelyn laughed edges of madness. I've spent a quarter-century planning this. The convergence will erase everything, reset the world. Maybe in the next cycle, Damon will choose me instead of Celine. Luna felt pieces clicking. Evelyn had loved Luna's father. When he married someone else, it broke her. Dr. Winters' voice through radio urgent. The robed figures, cross-bloodline members. She's planning to sacrifice them to break the third seal. If she kills 12 cross and 1 shadow, all 3 seals shatter. How many does she need? Cade asked. 12 cross, 1 shadow. Evelyn raised the knife. 1 cross per minute until all 12 are dead. Then the shadow, then the convergence. She drove blade down into nearest robed figure's chest. Blood spread across stone. 11 to go. Chaos erupted. Grant's team moved from 3 directions. The remaining robed figures fought back, not victims, but willing participants. Luna pushed forward despite guards trying to hold her. She reached for Silver Command, felt power coil. Focused on robed figures. Stop. The command rippled outward. 8 froze mid-motion. 3 resisted alpha-level whistle power. But 8 was enough. Cade's team secured them, pulled them from Evelyn's reach. The elderly woman's face twisted with rage. She grabbed another robed figure, one who'd resisted Luna, and drove knife home before anyone could intervene. 10 to go. Helena's voice grief-stricken. Evelyn, please, this isn't you. The sister you knew died 25 years ago when they executed the man she loved. Evelyn's eyes found Luna. You look like her. Like Celine. Same eyes, same face. It's like he's mocking me from death. Luna stepped forward, guards failing to stop her. You loved my father. Tell me about him. I never knew him. Evelyn's knife hand wavered. You don't remember. Just fragments. A voice. Someone calling me Sweetling. Help me remember. The request broke something in Evelyn's expression. He was kind. Too kind for a king. He'd spend hours in gardens teaching children about herbs, learning their names. He believed everyone mattered. When I told him I loved him, he was gentle. Said he cared for me, but his heart belonged to Celine. He wasn't cruel, just honest. Tears streaked her face. I hated him for that honesty, but also loved him more. After they decided to massacre the Silver family, I helped. Not because I believed they were guilty, because I couldn't bear watching Damon happy with someone else. I killed the man I loved because I was too weak to let him go. Luna moved closer. What you did was terrible, but it doesn't have to define you. You can stop now, let the hostage go, choose something different. And then what live with guilt, spend whatever years I have left remembering I murdered innocents. Evelyn shook her head. I'm so tired. Tired of hating, tired of hurting, tired of being hollow. She cut the hostage's bonds with sudden motion. The young shadow woman scrambled away. Evelyn looked at the knife, then at Luna. Tell Damon I'm sorry. When you see him, wherever we go after this. She drove the blade into her own chest. Helena screamed, lunging forward. But Evelyn was already falling. Helena caught her sister, lowered her gently. You fool, Helena whispered. You beautiful, broken fool. Evelyn's eyes found her twin's face. I missed you. Missed who we were before everything went wrong. I missed you too. Evelyn died in Helena's arms, expression peaceful for the first time in 25 years. Cross casualties. 2 dead, 10 saved. Shadow hostage rescued. Evelyn's conspiracy broken. The seals intact. Shadow bloodline remained at 59 members, sufficient to maintain second seal integrity. They flew back, carrying bodies and survivors. Grant coordinated debriefing. Garrett managed rescued cross members. Luna sat beside Helena, who hadn't spoken since her sister's death. Finally, Luna broke silence. I'm sorry about Evelyn. Don't be. She made her choices. Helena's voice carried exhaustion beyond physical. I loved her, but I won't pretend her actions were forgivable just because I mourn her. Can both be true, that you mourn and that she was a monster? Both are true. That's what makes it hurt. They buried Evelyn beside other casualties. Small cemetery on estate grounds. Helena insisted everyone deserved to be remembered, even those who'd done terrible things. The memorial drew 300 people. Luna spoke briefly about tragedy, choice, responsibility to build better from ashes. Cade added military precision. Grant provided soldier's perspective. When it finished, Luna stood beside Helena at Evelyn's grave. She loved him her entire life, Helena said quietly. Never moved on. Just nursed that wound until it infected everything. She looked at Luna. Don't make that mistake. Don't let past define you so completely you can't see the present. I'll try. That's all any of us can do. 6 months passed. Luna watched them from the perspective of someone who'd learned time moved differently when carrying a responsibility. Days blurred meetings, negotiations, decisions affecting thousands. But also moments of clarity, breakthrough progress visible in ways that made exhaustion worthwhile. Constitutional reform solidified. 3-branch government functioning. Council expanded to 75 members, equal representation. Elections held term limits enforced. Omega rights became reality. Maya's schools expanded to 5 locations, 200 students. Literacy climbing, employment opening. Legal protections ensuring equality. Silver survivors integrated. 19 members now. They formed Council of Bloodlines advisory body representing Silver Shadow and cross interests. Sarah returned to Chicago and visited monthly daughters in tow. They called Luna Aunt, honorary title that made her chest tight. Marcus served his sentence teaching at Territorial Academy. Students gradually became fascinated by his lectures on moral complexity. He'd aged 10 years and 6 months terminal cancer diagnosis catching up. Doctors gave him 2 more years. Grant retired at 63, remained as Luna's advisor. They met weekly for bourbon and conversation wisdom, helping her navigate political waters. Garrett served as cross-representative, working tirelessly to locate scattered members. Northern Territory Alliance formalized through treaty. Ambassador Eric became permanent liaison. Dr. Winters established Institute of Bloodline Studies. The work was endless. Luna lost count of how many times she fell asleep at her desk only to wake with blanket draped over shoulders. Usually Cade, she suspected. Their partnership had settled into comfortable rhythm. He handled military diplomatic relations, executive decisions. She managed legislative oversight, cultural programs, bloodline relations. They met daily to coordinate conversations that gradually became something more. Friendship, maybe? Or partnership so deep it transcended categories. One evening, 6 months after Convergence crisis, they stood together on a state balcony overlooking grounds transformed by peace. Luna broke silence. People are talking, speculating about us. Cade didn't pretend to misunderstand. Let them talk. I need to know, are we what, lovers? He looked at her directly. No, not yet anyway. Maybe not ever. I lost my mate 10 years ago. That wound's still raw, and you deserve someone who can give you their whole heart, not scarred pieces. I wasn't asking for romance. I was asking for clarity. Then here's clarity. I care about you, deeply. As a partner, a friend, maybe something more someday. But we have time. Let's not force it because gossips want a fairy tale. Luna nodded, tension releasing. Good, because I feel the same. This partnership works. Let's not complicate it. Cade's smile held warmth. Agreed, though I reserve the right to change my mind in 10 or 20 years. I'll hold you to that. Grant found them eventually carrying 3 glasses of bourbon. To the living, he said simply. To the living, Luna and Cade echoed. They drank. 1 week later, the ceremonial hall filled with dignitaries from 3 territories. Today marked official ratification of the Bloodline Protection Treaty, historic agreement ensuring all 3 seals would be monitored, protected, maintained in perpetuity. Luna stood backstage with Cade, both in formal regalia. Her silver crown felt heavier today, weight of everything it represented pressing down. Nervous, Cade asked. Terrified. Luna's hands shook slightly. What if I'm not ready? What if I fail everyone who's counting on me? Then you'll fail forward, learn from it, and do better next time. Cade's voice carried certainty. That's what leadership is, failing, learning, trying again. You make it sound simple. It's not, but you're not alone. He gestured toward the hall. Helena's out there mentoring the next generation of healers. Grant's teaching tactical courses. Sarah's building networks across the country. Maya's organizing voting rights expansion. Marcus is teaching students about moral complexity. Everyone found their place. You have too. Silver Queen isn't just a title, it's you. Everything you've done, everyone you've saved, every choice you made to stand when others needed you. Luna looked at him. When did you become wise? I've always been wise. You just weren't paying attention. They shared a smile. The announcement came time to take the stage. Luna and Cade walked out together side by side. The crowd rose as one applause thundering through the space. Not polite acknowledgement, but genuine celebration. They reached the dual thrones, black and silver, equal and aligned. Sat together. Ambassador Eric approached with the treaty document. Dr. Winters beside him carried ancient texts that had guided their research. Garrett represented cross-bloodline, signing on behalf of his people. One by one, representatives from all 3 bloodlines added their signatures, making official what Luna had fought to protect: the right of all bloodlines to exist, to thrive, to be recognized. When the last signature was added, the throne of Silverpine pulsed with light, black and silver intertwining, a visual confirmation that balance had been restored. The crowd erupted again. Luna stood Cade beside her. She raised her hand for silence. 6 months ago, I was nobody, a laundress facing execution. I thought that was my fate to die forgotten, invisible, insignificant. Then I discovered I was somebody. Royal blood, lost hair, suddenly I mattered. But here's what I learned. Being somebody doesn't come from bloodline. It comes from choices. From standing up when it's easier to kneel. From telling truth when it's safer to lie. From building when it's simpler to destroy. All of you are somebody. Every person who fought for rights, every soldier who protected strangers, every leader who chose justice over tradition. We're all somebody, together. This treaty ensures no bloodline will ever be erased again. No family will be massacred for political convenience. No children will be scattered and forgotten. This is our legacy, not mine, not Cade's, ours, and we'll defend it, together. The applause shook the walls. Luna looked at Cade. He met her eyes, and in that moment she understood. This partnership built through crisis, forged in fire, tempered by shared sacrifice, was stronger than any romance could have been. They'd built something worth protecting, and they'd protect it together. That night, after ceremonies concluded and dignitaries departed, Luna found herself alone in the ceremony. Everyone else was celebrating, but she needed a moment. She stood before the dual thrones, studying them in moonlight, streaming through high windows. Black and silver, separate yet aligned. Perfect metaphor for everything they'd built. Footsteps behind her, she turned to find Maya still wearing her formal dress, holding 2 glasses of wine. "Thought you might need this," Maya said, offering one. Luna accepted, grateful. "Shouldn't you be at the celebration?" "Shouldn't you?" Maya smiled. "But I get it. Sometimes you need to step away from the noise. Remember why it matters." They stood in comfortable silence, sipping wine. "I'm proud of you," Maya said quietly. "Not because you're a queen, because you're still you. Still the sister who worked double shifts to pay my tuition. Still the woman who risked everything to protect people she'd just met. Bloodline didn't make you special, Luna. You did that yourself." Luna felt tears prick her eyes. "Thank you for staying, for not treating me differently. You're my sister. That doesn't change because you found out your royalty." Maya squeezed her hand. "Besides, someone has to keep you humble." They laughed, sound echoing through the empty hall. More footsteps. Cade appeared, also carrying wine. Then Helena in her wheelchair. Grant with his bourbon. Sarah via video call on someone's tablet. Garrett carrying coffee because he didn't drink. One by one, the people who'd become family gathered in the hall. Not for ceremony or politics, but simply to be together. They shared stories, Grant's tales from old wars. Helena's medical disasters turned miracles. Marcus appearing via prison video link with philosophical musings that made everyone think. Sarah's daughters performed an impromptu dance that made everyone laugh. Maya outlined her next school expansion. Luna watched them all, feeling something settle in her chest. This was what she'd fought for. Not thrones or titles or constitutional reforms, though those mattered. This, connection, family, people who'd seen her at her worst and chosen to stay anyway. Cade raised his glass. "To the family we choose." "To the family we choose," everyone echoed. They drank. Luna looked around the circle of faces illuminated by moonlight and realized she'd found something she hadn't known she was searching for. Home. Not a place, but people. Not bloodline, but choice. Not destiny, but decision. She'd been nobody once. Invisible, insignificant, overlooked. Now she was somebody, not because of royal blood or supernatural recognition, but because she'd chosen to stand when it mattered, to fight when it was hard, to protect when it was dangerous. And she'd keep choosing it every day, every decision, every moment that tested her resolve, because that was what it meant to be Silver Queen. Not a title, not a birthright, a responsibility, a promise, a choice she made every morning when she woke up and decided to try again. The territory would face new challenges. Other threats would emerge. The work would never be finished. But tonight, in this moment, surrounded by family she'd found through fire and blood and shared sacrifice, tonight there was peace, and that was enough.